Welcome back, everybody. We are again high above Frontera Grill on the second floor in the Frontera Test Kitchen. We have a special guest today. He is Todd Stein from
Chef,
the 4-Star Restaurant Group. Good to see you, sir.
Always a pleasure.
4-Star in Chicago has 7 restaurants.
Soon to be 9.
Soon to be 9, and they're kind of all over the map, like Smoke Daddy for barbecue and Frosca for pizza.
We have Crosby's Kitchen.
That's all my neighborhood.
Yeah. So the ingredient challenge today, we're talking winter citrus.
Yes.
We are,
perfect for the season.
one kind of winter citrus.
Blood oranges.
Blood oranges,
Okay.
that's right.
So you like blood oranges?
I do. I'm a
Who
fan.
doesn't like
love
blood
them.
oranges?
They
I was just
translate
going to
to
make a
every cuisine.
cocktail.
Oh, really?
You know, I thought about the same thing. I was like, well, Rick's going to do a margarita, so I got to do something else.
So here's how it works. You get 5 extra ingredients, and you get 15 minutes to make something that the folks at home could make
Absolutely.
on a weeknight.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah,
Pretty
that's what we
simple.
want.
All right?
Because on the weekend they go really fancy.
They go fancy on the weekends, yes.
Or they come to our
No,
restaurant.
they come to our restaurant. That's what I'm hoping.
Right.
So Matt, our producer, is going to start the clock for us. 15 minutes begins now.
Excellent.
Okay. And for folks at home, if you are listening to us from our iTunes podcast, you can watch this entire competition on our YouTube channel, The Feed Podcast. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to download the podcast on iTunes and listen to the entire show. So
Absolutely.
what is your strategy, Rick?
You know, I'm going to make a guacamole. Now, I know that sounds really straightforward.
Very original for Rick
and all
Bayless to
of
make
that,
guacamole.
okay.
There's nothing wrong with
But
good guacamole.
Wait till you see where I'm going to go with it, because I love the idea of citrus and almonds together.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put that together with guacamole. And so I've got a couple of sort of out of left field ingredients here.
Okay.
But I'm starting off by cutting 3 avocados in half and taking the pits out of them. And now I'm going to scoop the avocado flesh out of the skin. These are Hass avocados, and they have to be perfectly ripe. If they're not completely soft, you can't mash them into a creamy guacamole.
Those look perfect, actually. And Todd, what is your strategy for your recipe?
You know, my strategy is just to make simple, great food. I think about what we would cook at home for our wives and family. I think it's a lot different than the other way around. So I look at the dish that I'm doing is it's very quick and easy and simple, but also flavorful.
So I see you got fennel.
I do.
What else?
So we have blood oranges. I was thinking to highlight that with some sweetness and fennel. We're doing a sautéed bay scallop, and those are scallops that you can find generally all year long.
Okay.
So we're highlighting it with the fennel and the blood orange, a little bit of olive and caper for salinity.
Okay.
Yeah, and making a little butter sauce to add to the richness.
Okay.
And so like the fennel, I'm just going to poach in the microwave because that's easy to do at home.
So what are you doing with the fennel? You're just sort of chopping up?
Yeah, I'm cutting it into like squares, so it looks somewhat bigger than the olives, the capers, and the scallops. And I'm going to literally season it and put a little bit of water in it and microwave it because this is the quickest way to do it at home.
Okay.
If you're in a
The
hurry.
Bayless method. I like that.
Oh, is that one of your methods?
I love that method.
it
Every
works.
show so far,
Yeah.
he's
Really?
put some vegetables in a bowl, topped it with some plastic wrap, and microwaved it for
Yeah.
I like you even better now.
So Rick, what are you doing? You're very thinly slicing.
Okay, so this is knob onion. You can use green onion for this,
Those
but
are my favorite.
knob onions you can find in every Mexican grocery store. And the white part has already started to grow in these so that it becomes a small white knob. But I can still use the green onion top here.
Okay.
And this will taste like a fresh dug white onion when I slice it really thin like that. So I'm going to just chop, I've sliced the bulb already, and then very thinly slice across the green part of it as well.
Okay. So you really get more bang for it because you get to use so much of this bulb.
That's right. Well, in this challenge where you only get 5 ingredients extra,
It's
I
so hard.
I try to
Like-
use whatever I can that has dual purposes.
So Todd is now slicing up some fancy Plugra butter, it looks
Yeah,
like.
thank you for this lovely butter. No, I'm going to make a little butter sauce, an emulsified butter sauce
Okay.
that will hold all the ingredients. And the nice thing about that, if you're doing this at home, it lasts, it holds up, and you don't have to, worry about last minute issues.
Rick has added his green onion tops, just the green to the avocado.
That's right. And I've squeezed in a little bit of lime and I've added some salt. So we have those 4 ingredients together now in the bowl. And I'm going to use an old-fashioned potato masher to go in and crush these avocado halves. I like coarse guacamole, so I'm doing it in a sort of coarse way here. About 8 or 10 passes through the avocado will be enough.
Doesn't everybody like coarse guacamole? I mean, I can't stand when someone like blends it or it's like hummus.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yes.
should be coarse, shouldn't
I
it?
don't.
Then it's
For
not
me,
guacamole.
it should be
Yeah.
It's
absolutely.
like avocado puree.
Yeah. All right, we've also got something in the skillet up here, Rick.
Yes, now it's just a dry skillet, sort of medium heat, and I've put a couple of Serrano chilies in there, and I'm going to lightly roast them until they're soft. And then that's going to go into this as well for my little spicy component.
Okay.
But if you roast them, that brings out some sweetness.
Okay, yep, all right. Todd, what have you done over there on the
So I
skillet?
got a little water in this little pan, and I'm just slowly whisking butter into it till it looks like popcorn butter, really.
Okay.
So it's nice emulsified.
I just got the 10-minute sign, and Rick is now slicing off the
exterior
outside.
part of the blood orange, that's my preferred way. If I'm going to make the supreme or the little demembraned segment of the orange, I will usually cut top and bottom off.
Yep.
And then slice following the curve of the citrus around. I do that with the oranges or grapefruit too. And you just want to make sure that you cut down far enough that you leave none of that white pith on the outside.
You know, I do this at home a lot too. It's an elegant way to serve something. Obviously, citrus.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you get all the juice as you're slicing into the section. You get some of that juice coming off.
Absolutely. I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to actually add some of that juice to this butter to heighten the flavor of it, and kind of use that secret ingredient.
Sharp knife is crucial here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And then you just cut down between those the segments, and you leave that white pith behind or white membrane behind.
So this is one of the reasons, if you are listening to the podcast, you do want to go to YouTube and look at the Feed podcast. You can see the technique here, because it's obviously very important to see how both chefs are getting these supremes or sections out of this blood orange. So Rick just turned his Serrano chilies over. They're blistered now on one side.
On one side. Now
In
I
the dry
want them
skillet.
to go long enough that they'll actually start softening up some.
Okay.
So I've added a little blood orange juice. It will change the color, obviously, of the butter, but we're okay
Very
with
much,
that.
like a tablespoon or so.
Yeah, just about a tablespoon, just to
Okay.
heighten the flavor.
What are you doing now?
So I'm taking the meat off the pit of the olive. I'm using actually an Italian olive. This is a green Cerignola olive. I really love. They're meaty and delicious, and you can be fancy with it and kind of julienne it like I am, or just take the meat off the pit and throw it in whole. I'm just gonna to give it some texture, light julienne.
Okay.
We've also added some capers for more salinity to the butter.
So you're really building on the butter sauce.
Yeah, because I think the nice thing about these bay scallops, they're beautiful. They're not Nantucket bays, which are insanely rich, but these are actually from Peru, and they're beautiful and have lovely flavor. So and they're giant.
Is it easy to find Peruvian scallops?
Yeah, actually, I bought these at Whole Foods.
Wow,
To be
okay.
brutally honest,
All
yeah.
About 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to
Right.
go. So we're 2/3 of the way through. Todd is now adding some of those olives, capers to his butter sauce.
Yep. We're gonna just let that sit. And
You're
then,
gonna let it sit. Not even on heat.
No, because the butter's already emulsified.
Okay.
So we don't have to let it get. We don't want it to break. So at the last second, though, we will just get it warm again to go over the scallops.
Okay, Rick has now pulled those Serranos off of his dry skillet. They're pretty soft. Chopping them up pretty fine.
Yep.
Seeds and all, obviously, everything in there. Yeah.
I'm doing seeds and all because for this kind of coarse guacamole, I don't mind the texture of the seeds, and there's no point in taking them out of here because they're not going to remove any heat or anything once they're cooked.
Okay.
I think that will probably be enough to add some nice flavor to that. I'm going to add a few of these very thinly sliced white part of the knob onion in, and the rest of it I'm going to use for garnish.
Okay, and they're probably about the size of a quarter, it looks like.
That's about the size that I like. The 1-inch knob I think is the best one for knob onions.
Okay.
This is the place where we start to move into something slightly different. And I have some almond butter here.
Really?
Scoop a little bit of this onto the side of the bowl here. Now it's not too much.
Well, I've seen more almond butter now for some
Yeah.
reason. Why is
All
that?
the nut butters.
Because there's so many people allergic to peanuts.
peanuts. Okay, so
So,
this is-
now that's the reason that we see so
Nuts
many.
are good for you.
This is
Yeah.
Justin's classic almond butter, all natural.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so you've added that.
Now here's what I'm doing. I'm mashing it. It's kind of a firm thing. So I'm mashing it in with a little bit of the avocado mash that's already in the bowl here. And once I have mixed it in enough, then I can just stir it into the rest of it. But this is going to make this part of the guacamole super smooth. Okay, so then the rest of it's going to be chunky.
I see. So you
Okay.
diluted it, or now you're going to add
Exactly.
it. Okay.
Now I'm just going to stir it gently into the guacamole.
We've got 3 minutes left, guys. Time is evaporating
Time is
quickly.
of the essence.
3 minutes to
Well, I
go.
got my
Okay.
butter brown, so I'm going to add the scallops into the pan.
Okay.
I'm going to chop up some of my blood orange here
Yep.
to mix into
You've chopped
this
up about half the blood
guacamole.
oranges. Okay. Those are now in with.
And just stir them in just gently
Okay.
because they will start to color that guacamole. Give it a little taste here to see if I got the right amount of salt and lime.
And salt, lime, more salt.
No more lime, but a little bit more salt.
Okay. That's why it's important to taste as you work here.
Absolutely.
We got about 2 minutes to go. Todd now working
I got
on
my
his butter
sauce
sauce.
complete.
Yep. Capers. You got a little fennel you added in there, which is softened. Testing it for.
For salt. You know, it's
salt,
funny, you have
yep.
capers and olives in here. You'd think it'd be like perfectly seasoned. But
Okay. 2 minutes to
little salt.
go. Rick is putting his guac with the blood oranges and the mashed almond butter in there. Now adding a couple of. Oh, I see the Supremes, the blood orange on top for garnish.
Yep.
And Todd is now going to plate his scallops almost.
Yep.
Yeah, they're kind of caramelized on the
Yep.
outside.
which, you know, I like scallops medium rare. to
I
be
do
brutally honest with
too.
you.
Can you do it on that side? so we can see
Absolutely.
it? Yeah. You like a medium rare? Yep, I
Yeah,
like-
I think they eat their best at that point.
So you put Todd, you put the sauce down first.
Yes.
And now you're gonna put the scallops on top.
Yeah,
of it.
because you know I've gotten that nice caramelization on it. I don't really want to put too much of the butter sauce over to
Okay.
cover that.
Right.
Because I think you know you've done all the work. Let it speak for itself. And the beautiful thing about buying whole fennel is it comes with its tops, and we can use that as a garnish.
Now,
Ah,
I
yes.
was wondering if you were going to use all of those fennel tops.
You can
as a
have some if
garnish.
you'd like.
So
I am
that
more
doesn't
than happy
count
to
as one
share.
of my extra ingredients. Now,
Absolutely, it
if I
doesn't.
stole it off of his cutting
No,
board,
it
Called
doesn't.
right?
borrowing, as my
It's
grandmother
borrowing,
used to
yeah,
say,
okay.
and I'm totally okay with
Just
that.
under a
Okay.
minute to go. So this is it, the final garnish. Rick
Yeah.
is adding the fennel fronds, and you added some of the raw knob onion.
Yes, I used
Okay.
the raw knob onion, just broke those
looks
rounds apart.
Beautiful.
And put that down. You know, I didn't have an extra ingredient, which would have been an herb, but I was so happy he brought these fennel fronds.
It was
over
like
here.
it
out
was,
well,
you know,
Todd.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's it. Time's up.
we go.
Very
All
nicely
right,
done, gentlemen.
beautiful.
Wow, excellent. Okay,
Very nice.
That was fun.
fantastic. I think we should dig in. Okay, we'll taste. We'll go Todd's first.
Yes, let's.
Okay.
Or do you want to go cold first? I don't care.
What do you think?
Well, I was going to say because he's our guest here
Okay.
that
Yeah,
he
the
should
guest.
go first. But
Yeah, let's
yes,
have the guest
let's
first.
do it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Get some of the blood orange and the sauce.
Those are delicious
Oh,
scallops.
really nice
And
scallops.
very nicely cooked.
Hello,
Very
Peru.
nicely.
Wow.
Hello, right?
Yeah,
Hello,
very
Peru.
nice.
Who knew?
So we got the fennel and the blood orange and the scallop there. That's a great. Oh, and the capers.
When I was in Peru a year and a half ago, the most dramatically delicious dish that I had was a scallop dish.
Really, those are great scallops.
Really good.
Yeah.
Who needs Nantucket?
I love that.
And half the price of Nantucket.
Butter sauce, not too rich. Also,
No.
so because
Super
you took
good.
the scallops out of the butter sauce
Right.
and put it on top.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's nice
Very
balance.
nice.
I like the saltiness, the sweetness. I like
Yeah.
the color that the butter sauce came out. That little bit of blood orange
And
juice.
it's frankly pretty elegant for a Tuesday night. I mean,
It-
hello.
it's
that's
so
You
pretty
should come to
nice.
my house on Wednesday.
All right, so
Does it go down or up? That's all I want to know.
guacamole time?
Okay,
Yeah?
Absolutely.
dig
This
in.
looks great.
This
Okay.
looks great. Get a little bit of the garnish
love
with it too.
And you'll have to tell me what you think about the use of the almond butter in there. I think that there's a natural nuttiness to a really good avocado, and I think it's just accentuated a bit.
It is accentuated.
With the-
wow.
with the almond.
I would have never thought of that in a million years.
That's awesome.
Almond butter with guac.
And I
with
really,
avocado.
I think it awesome with the texture too. I think that's
The
awesome.
chunky is crucial.
That's at
yeah.
my house on Wednesday night. We'll be having that. This
Okay.
week.
Then you get that
That's
bright,
great.
but then you get that bright acidity,
Yeah.
that little wake-up call from the blood orange, yeah?
Yeah, and it's not only acid, but it's also sweet. I always describe that flavor as sort of like orange juice with a little touch of cherry juice added to it.
Absolutely.
Because it adds all that same kind of flavor you get in cherries.
Yeah.
So all the recipes are going to be, of course, on our Facebook page, The Feed Podcast. You can see the entire recipe on our YouTube channel, The Feed Podcast. You got to go check out Todd Stein at the Remington.
Yeah, Remington's we open May 5th. Cinco de
Okay.
Mayo,
Oh, wonderful.
Right?
Fantastic.
20 North Michigan Avenue. It's going to
Very
be fun.
good.
All right, Todd, thanks
Very
so
cool.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Great to see
Thank you as well.